Hi, I'm Holly and I'm the owner of Accrual Mistress Bookkeeping and Consulting. And today I thought we could take a few minutes to go ahead and go over the new QuickBooks Online dashboard. Now you can see it here, it's on the screen. This is the new interface that QuickBooks has rolled out. And it's something that you may have started to see about 6 months ago. They started to roll it out in a beta version. Some people were seeing the new dashboard, some weren't. You still had the option at that point to opt out of the new interface and the new experience. But it sounds like and it seems like they're going to start to phase that option out. I was just in some books earlier this week and there was a banner across the top saying, hey, if you've opted out of this experience, we're switching everybody into it now. I'm not sure how much longer the old version will still be supported, but with that in mind, I wanted to go ahead and do a review of what has changed, where things are located now, and hopefully we can find a way to work it into your existing workflow. So let's go ahead and get started. We can see over here on this left-hand navigation pane, it used to be a much thicker navigation pane. It was this whole menu and you had options going down it. We have that now, but it's much lower profile. Up at the top, we still have this plus create button, which has taken the place of the plus new button. Now, everything in this menu is still going to be the same. We still have all the same columns that were available to us before, and everything in each of those columns is going to be ordered the same way it was in the old file. So that's really nice. Nothing really major as far as an overhaul on that. But of course, from there, it's kind of all downhill. We have a bunch of changes that have happened. So now we have a couple different options as far as navigating into those drawers that we used to navigate to from that left-hand navigation menu. We can either go over here and mouse over the My Apps hamburger on the side right there, and then go into each of the drawers. And you'll see some of the names have changed a bit, but by and large, everything is still going to be where it was before. So we can either go into things this way, or we can navigate to items from this upper navigation menu up here. Now, one big change that did come about, and I want to call your attention to it, is that customers is now its own separate section. They now have a customer hub, and it is built out much more robustly. It has leads and estimates and everything else. Some of those items were in the file already, but now we have a little bit more. So customers are no longer under sales and get paid. They are their own separate item. So let's go ahead and check into some of these and see how the navigation has changed and what we can do to make it work for us. So let's say we can go ahead and click on accounting right here, and we can see that pops out this left-hand navigation menu, which might actually look a little bit more similar to what we're used to seeing. We have our options there on that side. So with that, we can actually expand or contract as many of these as we want. That is actually kind of a quality of life improvement, because otherwise in the old one, as you know, you had to mouse over that side menu and then you had to put your mouse on what you wanted to see. Now we can actually view and scroll to see all of our options at once if we choose to. Okay, so that's a really actually nice improvement that they've made on this. Another thing that we can do, because goodness knows, we're probably not going to be using each and every field in each and every one of these options here. So we actually do have the ability to bookmark things that we're going to use a lot. So personally, bank transactions is one of the first things that I go into every time I go into a company file. So I'm going to go ahead and bookmark that by mousing over it and then clicking on this little banner right here to make it dark. That means that it's going to show up in my bookmarks bar. Okay, and if I mouse over that right here, I can see here is my bookmarks bar with everything that I have bookmarked to help me navigate my file a little bit more smoothly. Now, you can edit this at any point. You can either click here if you'd like to bookmark the page that you're currently on, or you can make edits to any of your existing bookmarks. You can unbookmark them here simply by clicking on the banner next to them, okay? And you can also edit their name if you want it to be something else. So, maybe bank transactions isn't intuitive to you. If you want it to say bank feed instead, you can actually edit that right here. I might have just dated myself with that bank feed reference. Anyway, so that is how we can kind of make this bookmarks bar work for us and our workflow. Okay, now navigating back to the dashboard is, at least in my opinion, actually a little bit easier now. There is an actual dashboard button, which gets us right back here. Okay, now another thing that we do see is we have pinned items down here at the bottom. And you can see that these are things that directly mirror items that are up here and that are available from this My Apps button. Okay, but we can customize this menu if we would like to by selecting Customize in the very bottom left-hand corner. Now, what we can see here is that we can pin and unpin different items from our navigation bar on the left, and that actually will also change the order that they show up in the upper navigation bar as well. So let's say that I actually don't want to see expenses and bill pay here. I instead want to see sales and get paid, the customer hub, and let's say sales tax. I want those to be the things that are showing up on my left-hand navigation menu. And I also want to change the order a little bit. I don't need to see lending all the way up at the top. I might want that to be a little bit lower, but I do want the customer hub to stick with sales and get paid. Well, that's not a problem, and we can absolutely do that. Now, from here, I'm going to put everything that is pinned up to where it is. I can again reorder any of these at any point. I can also reset them back to their default settings. But I like what I've done here, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And you can see that has automatically updated my navigation options over here, as well as up at the top. Now, the last thing that I do want to kind of call your attention to is this dashboard. It looks really different, but ultimately we're seeing all the same data and information that we were seeing in the file previously, okay? So we still have all of these widgets. We can still reorder them in any way that we would like, and you also have the ability to add additional widgets if that's something that you would like to see. So, let's say that you really want to have an emphasis on the expenses that are flowing through your business. You can add widgets to show you that information. Let's say that you want the first things that you see to be your bank accounts and your profit and loss. Well, I can click right here on Customize Dashboard, and I can then reorder the widgets in a way that makes sense to me. And then just save my changes, okay? So this is something that you can do at your leisure. I definitely recommend looking at the new flow of everything and probably adding some bookmarks just to make going through and navigating the file a little bit easier. But other than that, we're seeing a lot of similarities, just kind of a big modernized upgrade. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop those below, and I'll be happy to get to as many as I can. And if there are any other items as far as navigating the file is concerned where you'd like some additional data, please let me know. I'm happy to record some more.